Hey folks, Neil with SFJ4x4.com with another Tech Tuesday update. And we're in the showroom right now. We have this very cool display running in the background, and of course we've got the got our TV back up and moving. We're really trying to invite people back into the showroom. Big shout out to Falcon Tire. So we recently did a pretty cool agreement with them. We're going to be able to do some discounted prices coming up in October. And so for that, we've got a nice Falcon display. We've got this really cool motorsports TV going right now, and you get the full motorsports channel effect, and it's really neat. So there's racing on there, there's Baja, there's dirt every day, there's a whole bunch of really cool stuff. And that's going to be in our showroom for you to watch while you're here, getting oil changes and crawlovers and all those types of cool services that we offer. So we're working to revamp this space. We're really pushing pre-COVID. I know that was a really long time ago, but to bring people in and allow them to have this showroom experience with us. And so we're really trying to bring that back to the forefront. And we want to have that experience for you so that you can pick up your parts here, but that you can also sit and wait while services like your crawlover. And that's what's happening over here right now. Obviously we're full to the brim, but right now this particular Jeep is getting a crawlover service. If you are unfamiliar with that, it is a bajillion point inspection where our highly skilled technicians kind of cruise over all of the Jeep, and we give you a general health checkup of where and how your Jeep is. So we're actually shaking it down right now, quite literally, as the customer's complaint was that there was a noise in the rear end of the Jeep. Not while moving, but actually a clicky clunky. So the guys are replicating that noise right now. So that's one of the big services we have. Hey, right now, stop. Make sure you go over there and you like and subscribe. If this is your first time joining us, make sure you subscribe. And once you subscribe here, head over to our I Speak Jeep podcast channel and do that, because there's really cool, entertaining information on both channels that you don't want to miss. All right, back on to the crawlover and other services. Happening in the shop right now, we have Rhino up in the air, and Rhino is getting a Jasper transmission replacement and a full MagnaFlow catalytic converter system. So this is Rhino at its core. Used to be a 2004 Jeep TJ Unlimited prior to its conversion, and now you know, underneath it still is. So it's getting a brand new transmission to make it go, and obviously the MagnaFlow catalytic converter assembly to make it breathe. So that's going into it right now. We had to chase down one of the delivery companies and shake them to get our parts, but we got them, and it's finally going together. So very cool build over here that our performance mechanic Greg has been just grinding away on. This is a JLR Rubicon, and it is a 2.0 turbo Jeep. It is one that we've had the pleasure of kind of fine tuning over and over again. Greg redid the gears in it previously, and it's back in for Artec trusses, front and rear, custom Bear big brake kit. It's getting a full PSC hydro assist. We'll walk around the front here and kind of take a gander, because it's real Purdy. You can see these massive drilled and slotted rotors. We have reed knuckles both sides with our Steer Smart steering. We've got the bottom mount, but that's because the reeds are actually already drilled and ready to accept the steering as it is. This is got a JKS 3.5-inch suspension, all the control arms, and RCV axles front and rear in the internals, and obviously complementary with the beautiful Fox 2.0 performance shocks. So this thing just flat out works. It's got a laundry list of really cool things that make it tick. but ultimately it's one that's been in and around, and we're going to show you its really sick shoes here in a minute. Keep on moving. We've got the Wagon up from West Virginia, and the Wagon got Adams drive shafts. It got it had a Holley sniper, and it had a catalytic converter on it that melted down. So we're not 100% sure what our initial catalyst was, but I believe that back pressure pushed on the ejection system because obviously it couldn't combust appropriately. So that back pressure messed with the combustion process, the fuel injection. And so we ended up having to send the sniper back in. Holley, big shout out to them, went ahead and took care of it for us. That is back on the Jeep. Now, unfortunately, when that catalytic converter went Chernobyl, it got piping red, boiling hot, and it loosened up the seals at the transfer case. Wah, wah, wah. So the mad scientist will be taking apart that transfer case, resealing it, and making sure it's nice and dry before we ship it off to our customer in a couple weeks. We'll keep on moving here. As we push into the CJs, I'm going to draw attention to these massive 40-inch Mickey Thompson MTs on the Hutchinson beadlocks. Those are the tires and wheels that are going over onto that beautiful JL. So looking forward to making all of that happen. We've got all our parts and pieces, and so now it's all just a matter of continuing to push and put them back together appropriately for the customer. Obviously, this is a regular here at SFJ. This is just a really cool Survivor Jeep, and we just kind of keep picking away at it, doing little projects here and there. One of the things that we had done, the factory clutch linkage has a ball and stem design. Well, this was a fiberglass body, and so the issue with fiberglass bodies is that their cowl or toe board structure was always, no matter what fiberglass body it was kind of not uniform. So if you think of your standard steel body at the firewall, so below the cowl, right at the toe board, the firewall is actually very thin. Well, fiberglass cannot be that thin because it just doesn't have the structural integrity to be as thin as steel is in that location. So all fiberglass bodies always had something goofy going on with the brakes or the clutch linkage. So we had factory clutch linkage in this Jeep previously, and again that ball and stem design, and we had to have it just bent ever so slightly to access through that body mount thickness. And what that did was the factory design proved to be insufficient with that amount of leverage placed on it. So our team went ahead and measured the different thread diameters that rod has. We then ordered high quality QA1 rod end or Heim joints, depending on who you are and what part of the country you're from. And we did a full through bolt and rod end design to improve the clutch linkage for our customer. While it was here, we did a couple other little odds and ends for them, and just kind of continuing to fine tune what that Jeep has already on it. Obviously, we have the bell of the ball, hashtag not a restoration. You may or may not have seen this in a previous update. This is the creme de la creme. This is the 8274S. This is the relaunch of a 50+ year old winch. There are people out there who just dream of that specific winch. So big shout out to the owner Ryan for pulling the trigger on that one. It is absolutely just a gem. It works spectacularly. The guys already had it fired up and they worked together to spool it onto there. So we have that nice Spydura synthetic worn rope spooled onto the unit. It's fully functional. Yes, this was a complete resto mod, even when it wasn't supposed to be. Hashtag not a restoration. But this customer intends to use this Jeep. So that is why it is fully and appropriately equipped. It is so cool. To continue its coolness, Look at this dash. It's gorgeous. So we have our Dakota Digital gauges. These are actually a digital gauge with an analog readout. They're perfect if you are a vintage old school lover. They look the part, but they function like today's gauges do. So they have a heightened accuracy, very little lag, and you know, they're just gorgeous. It's also important to note that that speedometer and therefore odometer is actually a GPS equipped unit. So no speedo cable, it's not directly linked to the vehicle. We can put bigger tires on it, we can put smaller tires on it, and that unit is going to be accurate. Onto the beach cruiser, we actually have made some really cool headway with it recently. We are wired from the cowl forward. Our KCs are now working. We're really tickled about that. So now we have new school technology in the hashtag not a restoration, and we move to our hot rod old school technology. And the mad scientist has been over here toiling away. This whole dash structure is actually a Warrior Products replacement dash. It came as a blank. And so, yes, there were some holes drilled on it. Our gauge layout and our stereo largely wasn't. So a big shout out to our guys who did all the placement, all of the drilling. The holes are all drilled, the buttons, the you know, as far as the accessory switches, the ignition, the radio, all of that is done in-house. Our team actually even painted this. So this was a generic paint match. So we took it into the paint shop. They gave us, you know, their best guess in a can, and our guys went ahead and did this. So it's not something we normally do, but we did it in this application, and it turned out great. So big shout out to our team here who made this happen. And now the beach cruiser starts on the key, and we couldn't be happier. We're into the column right now. Crazy stuff, right? Crazy stuff. Previous owner had actually taken about 3 columns and made one. They have things brazed in there. They have plugs from GM cars. You know, it's a Saginaw column. They'd shorten the steering rod. They shorten the tube that makes the column. It's craziness. Scott's in the process of sorting it all out, and we're gonna have it back into this Jeep in no time and make this thing run, drive, and steer down the road. So very cool things. We'll come around the back here. Watch your step, Davey. So if you followed along previously, a project we're pretty slow on, but we're really looking to kickstart. Our M38, the frame went out to blast. It then went to powder. It got its first layer of OD green powder. We got the wheels done. We've got some skid plates. We've got a whole bunch of things. So this is just the start, but the frame looks gorgeous and it's back in place. And so now that we have it in hand, we can continue to move forward on it. So we're pretty happy to kickstart that one again and start bringing in parts and pieces and fitting them into place so that this Jeep can start to look like a Jeep again. I should say this pile of parts can start to look like a Jeep again, because that's what it is right now, and it'll soon be like one of these all put back together. So this Jeep is one that I've been personally picking away at. It's driving me insane. That's where I'm going to leave that one. It's a wiring issue. Customer got caught with the top down. We have a roaming short, which means that every time we replace a part and we pin it out, sometimes we get a short, sometimes we get an open. Well, I should say we have continuity and sometimes we don't. And it's driving me nuts. But at this point in time, I'm just in a, like, I've accepted it as a personal insult to my being and a personal challenge, and I'm here for it. I'm refusing to give it up, and I'm thankful that our customer is holding on in there with me while I chase it down. So we're outside. We have our JK to TJ axle swap Jeep back, a little bit of fine tuning. The other thing is what we're going to be doing with that, which is new to it, is we're going to be looking at doing an Alpine double din stereo install. We had done a really slick double din install on it previously with a manufacturer that we actually personally use a lot. It was being a little glitchy on them, and right now we have a great special on Alpine going on. This customer was intrigued by that and is open to, you know, to going ahead and doing that upgrade at this time. So we have yet to address that, but that Jeep is road and trail ready, and looking forward to seeing that stretch its legs on the trail here soon. The adventure trailer is here. We've got a solar to battery logistics. So when we hook up the solar panel, it says battery not detected. It works perfectly fine in every other way, shape, and form. Otherwise, we just need to find some time, push it into the shop, figure out what it is, and get that turned out to our customer in time. The camo Jeep got a brand new windshield. It's got Adams drive shaft in the rear. The rear geometry has been corrected. This is a really slick Jeep. Full Curry suspension. It's got the rock jock as far as the sway bar in the front here, and SYE, all that kind of good stuff. And then Resi Fox shocks at all four corners, which I'm a big fan of myself. And then we come over here to what we're going to be calling the Save My Jeep, or the Everyman's Jeep. And so that particular little maroon Jeep right there is going to be doing a frame swap. And we're going to be documenting that and bringing that to you in a video, because it's kind of the every guy or girl who has that Jeep that they just don't want to get rid of yet. And we get these calls all the time saying, my frame is shot, I got some body issues, blah, 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 blah. What does it cost? What does it look like? What does that process entail? So we're going to be doing that. And this particular customer has a appropriate budget to say, hey, I can't go out and buy a new Jeep for $5,000, $7,000. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and put it into this one. So very soon, we're going to be doing a frame swap on that Jeep. We're looking for a frame. I might be traveling south to procure a frame for a couple of our customers, and that might just be one of them. We come around, we've got just some in-house projects over here. This particular LJ has some beautiful armor that just came back from powder coat. It looks beautiful. The powder looks great on it. Customer went with a similar orange match and kind of an aluminum inspired silver or gray powder coat. So that's going to be coming together here pretty well in the next couple weeks. And overall, it's going to be gorgeous when we turn it out. And finally, just past that, we have a really nice TJ Rubicon. Came in for some leaky axle seals, and oh, by the way, throw a JKS lift on it. So that's what we're here to do, and looks great so far. We had to roll it back out just so we can get to some of our previously scheduled work, and we'll be working on it again here soon. All right, folks, if you made it this far through the video, you got to look for us at Bantam Jeep Heritage Festival Trail Fest 2022. We'll be on the Bantam property, which is off-site of Cooper Lake Campground, which is normally where they hold the festival. We will be there vending parts. It's been a long time since we brought a lot of parts to the show, and that's our intention. We're going to be there for one day. We're going to be there for Saturday. We're going to be bringing in a bunch of discounted new parts and some high-quality used parts. I pointed at a set of 37s. We're going to have a set of 4 used 37s there for a smoking hot deal. We're going to try and move those while we're there. They're nice. They got 60-70% life left in them. We're going to have some wheels. We're going to have a bunch of new parts. So make sure you stop by the booth if you're out there trail riding. Additionally, look for that video, because we're going to go there and we're going to give you a little bit of an event run around, but then we're going to absolutely vlog out wheeling and setting up and doing the event from our perspective. I hope you enjoyed this. If you saw something that caught your eye, let us know. Make sure you come visit us in the showroom. If you need a crawl over before winter or tire wheel packages, we're here to help you through that process. All right, folks, if you need anything, head over to sfj4x4.com and grab yourself some gear, submit a contact through our email, do that kind of stuff, reach out to us. We're here to help you. Until then, Jeep on.